The door clicks shut and the world finally stops screaming. Imagine it, the work week is over, your shoes are cast aside, and the harsh overhead lights are replaced by a soft, warm glow. Your phone sits abandoned on the counter, its screen dark and silent. In this stillness, your pulse slows. The tension you didn't even realize you were carrying finally evaporates. There are no expectations to meet and no social performances to give. Does that vision feel like a prison of boredom, or does it feel like a long-awaited exhale? To many, the idea of a night spent within four walls sounds lonely. But if you find your greatest joy in the sanctuary of your own space, we want you to know that this isn't a personality flaw. At Looks Fine Inside, we believe being a homebody isn't something to fix. It's actually a sophisticated response to the way your brain is wired. There is a fascinating psychological reason why your living room feels better than a night on the town, and understanding it might change everything. Think about the people in your life. Some seem to possess a battery that recharges only with noise and movement. They crave the next event before the current one has even ended. Then there are those of us who feel a deep physical depletion. After just a few hours of social interaction, neither person is doing life wrong. They simply have different requirements for what is known as optimal arousal. If you thrive at home, your nervous system is likely more sensitive. It isn't that you are fragile, it's that you process every sound, every subtle social cue, and every environmental change with high intensity. Eventually, that mental tab adds up. Home becomes the only place where the world isn't making a withdrawal. It's where your brain finally switches off its surveillance mode and returns to its natural frequency. Beyond just the chemistry of your brain, there is the vital element of sovereignty. When you are out in the world, you are a guest in someone else's environment. You don't control the volume, the lighting, or the people around you. For those who experience sensory sensitivity or have navigated emotional instability, that lack of control can feel like a constant low-level threat. Your system stays braced, scanning for what might happen next. But within your own walls, you are the architect. You decide the pace and the atmosphere. Because you have total agency over your surroundings at home, your body finally interprets its environment as safe. This sense of security isn't just a preference, it is a biological craving for peace the modern world rarely provides. There is a common misconception that staying in means your mind is turned off, but research suggests that for many the opposite is true. Those who cherish solitude often possess the most active and vibrant internal landscapes. Silence is the incubator for deep thought, creativity, and complex problem solving. When you remove the pressure to perform for an audience, your mind is finally free to wander and to connect disparate ideas. This is why your most brilliant aha moments don't happen in crowded meetings, but rather in the quiet of a late night or solitary morning. At Looks Fine Inside, we recognize that your most productive work often looks like nothing. Of course, the desire to stay tucked away isn't the same for everyone. For some, the home acts as more than a sanctuary, it becomes a fortress. Sometimes our preference for isolation is shaped by the scars of the past. In these moments, the walls aren't just restoring us, they are shielding us. It's important to look at this without a shred of judgment. Your mind only builds walls when it feels it needs to survive. The key is to check in with yourself. Is your time at home making you feel recharged and more like yourself? Or is it making your world feel smaller and more frightening? One is an act of deep restoration, the other is self-preservation. Distinguishing between the two is how you ensure your home remains a place of growth. Psychology suggests that if you genuinely love staying in, you likely possess a high degree of emotional self-sufficiency. You don't need a constant stream of external distraction to keep feelings at bay. You are comfortable sitting with yourself. You value the quality of your connections over the quantity of calendar invites. You aren't antisocial, you are simply highly selective about your finite energy. You prefer the depth of a real conversation over the hollow buzz of small talk. You aren't bored because you have an inner world rich enough to keep you company. You don't avoid the world because you can't handle it. You avoid the noise because you don't need it to feel whole. In a culture that celebrates constant visibility, choosing stillness can look like a deficit. But it's actually a radical way of relating to life. It's a choice to value meaning over momentum and quiet depth over loud performance. Modern existence is incredibly noisy. We are bombarded with nonstop notifications and the pressure to always be on. For many, being a homebody isn't a quirk, it's a necessary defense. Home is the one place where the world stops asking for something from you once you've felt the profound relief of that silence. It's a difficult thing to trade away for a social obligation. However, we must be mindful of the balance. The same environment that heals us can also isolate us if we aren't careful. If your time at home leaves you feeling grounded and clear-headed, then you have found your peace. But if you find yourself feeling disconnected or numb, it may be time to gently open the door. When staying home is an intentional choice rather than a reflex of fear, it offers incredible benefits. It allows your nervous system to reset and protects your focus. Loving your home doesn't mean you've quit the world. It means you've decided to prioritize your connection to yourself. Choosing to stay in is a quiet strength that values emotional safety. If this resonated with you, we'd love for you to join our community. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Looks Fine Inside. Thank you for spending your time with us, and we'll see you in the next one.